didn't have the first one doesn't have a will, but
Yeah.
I just put them together. I thought you might want to do those together.
All right. Sorry, Thames County Probate Court come to order. First on the docket, 20CPR0007, State of Gail Kid Bertrand. Mr. Baker. Mr. Baker, are you there? Maybe not. I see Ms. Clapper, but I don't see Mr. Baker. Okay, we'll skip over that.
Is that him?
There's someone named owner's iPad in here that's not
Oh,
joined
there-
by audio.
That is,
Richard over on the
yeah, that is
They're
Richard
kinda
over
waiting.
there.
If to the people on the iPad, if y'all could make sure to click join by audio, I think it's going to be an option in the lower left corner of your screen.
Richard, can you hear me? If you can, shake your head up and down. I don't think you can hear me. Okay. You got his cell phone?
If nothing else, we can.
We'll shoot him a text, or I think I got it. My phone's back there. Though.
Okay.
All right, let's go to number 50, the state of Yvonne Sherrill. Mr. Mayo, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, we can hear you.
Yeah.
All right, so you have someone there going to testify. Raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
So help me God.
All right, so you can proceed on the state of Yvonne Sherrill.
All right. Good morning. Mr. Sherrill, can you state your name for the record?
Kevin Wade Sherrill.
All right, and you're the son of Yvonne Sherrill.
Yes,
And right here I have in front of me is, I believe the original is with Judge Silva, but this is a copy of the original. Do you recognize this as the last will and testament of your mother, Yvonne Sherrill?
yes, I do.
All right. And do you recognize her signature on page 8?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Has this will ever been amended or revoked?
No, sir.
All right. And then next, we reviewed the proof of death and other facts. You remember doing that?
Yes, sir.
Is everything true and correct on the proof of death and other facts?
Yes, sir.
All right. And I believe y'all have a file copy that we signed and notarized. And then, Your Honor, we just need to get him to sign the oath.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sign right here.
All right, so I hereby admit the will of probate and authorize letters once we receive the oath. Mr. Mayo, you want to go forward on,
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
That'll be-
cause number,
Hearing.
you want to go forward on cause number 70,
This is Melinda.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
state of Earl Lloyd Sherrill.
Okay.
You may proceed on that.
Just check it.
All right. State your name for the record again. So,
Kevin Wade
all right.
Sherrill.
And Kevin, you, Mr. Sherrill, you recognize, they had the original, but you recognize this last will and testament of your father, or Earl Lloyd Sherrill Jr.
Yes, sir.
And again, on page 8, do you recognize your father's signature?
Oh, yes, sir.
All right. Has this will ever been amended or revoked?
No, sir.
All right. And again, we got the proof of death and other facts. You reviewed that. Is everything true and correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And then here's the oath.
All right, you've heard your testimony, Counselor.
Yes, sir.
All right, hereby admit the will of probate for Earl Lloyd Sherrill Jr. Okay, so you had on today's docket, correct?
No, he had already do this one.
We've done both.
Okay.
Where you been?
That's
You've
all
been
we
trying
have.
to get Mr. Baker on the phone. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayo.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. All right, you got to unmute the owner's iPad.
Oh,
You got it muted.
all right. They should be able to unmute themselves now. I'll let it through on my end.
All right, Mr. Baker, can you hear me?
Speak, Richard.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. All right, cause number 20 CPR 0007, the state of Gail Kid Bertrand. Mr. Baker, who do you have going to testify out there? Raise your right hand, please.
I have Teresa Lynn Newsom is the applicant, and she's gonna be the witness in one of the heirs. I have Mary Ann Club as a disinterested witness. I have BJ Hargraves as a disinterested witness. And then I also have, and I don't have my stuff in front of me because we're at a different location. I have 3 waivers of service and consent application, signed by George Michael Newsom Jr., Michaela Newsom Davis, and Jessica Sibley Newsom Miller, who are also heirs that we'll prove to you of some deceased children. And then also have a waiver from Christopher Kidd McBride. He is an heir under a deceased child. And if those have not been e-filed, they will be e-filed today, but I have them physically in our presence. I just can't check on your record to see if I've already e-filed them or not.
Yes. Okay. Good morning to all of you. Raise your right hand so we can swear you in, please.
Right hand.
You can be good.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I do.
All right, Mr. Baker, Counselor, you may proceed.
Judge, how flexible do you want to be? Can I ask the 3 fact witnesses to testify at the same time?
You definitely can. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. You are Mary Ann Club, correct?
Yes.
And you are Teresa Lynn Newsom, correct?
Oh,
And you are BJ Hargraves, correct? Correct. All right, and all of y'all knew Gail Kidd Bertrand during her life, right?
Right.
Yes. Now, Teresa, you're the dog. And BJ and Miss Plug, y'all are friends.
Yes.
And you and Miss Plug, BJ, you and Miss Plug are disinterested person. You don't stand to gain anything from the probate. You don't find an interest in the estate or anything like that, correct? All right. Now, is it true, BJ, that you knew Miss Bertrand about 17 years in the Anahuac, Hancomer, Winnie Stowe, Hampshire, Finette, Beaumont area? Yes. And Miss Plug, is it true for the same, but it's 25 or 30 years?
Yes.
Okay, is it also true that to the best of y'all's knowledge? Okay, well, and Teresa, you've known her your whole life, right? Okay. And how old are you? How old are you? It's in there. You're a majority age.
Yeah.
All right, and so, is it also true that to the best of y'all's knowledge, when Miss Bertrand died, she did not have a will? Is that true?
That is true.
And is it also true that her parents died before she did? Okay, and is it also true that she had 3 children, Elizabeth Gail McBride, George Michael Newsom, and Teresa Lynn Newsom? Is that all correct, DJ? Yes. All right. And is it true that she was married twice? The first time to Stanley George Newsom Jr., and that ended in divorce sometime around the year 1968 in Jefferson County, correct?
Yes.
And then she later married Dr. Carl Blaine Bertrand, and that marriage ended by his death on or about 18 December 1982 in Jefferson County. Is that correct?
Yes.
And there were no children of that marriage. Again, Elizabeth, George, and Teresa were the only children she had, right?
Right.
And she had no children adopted by her, correct?
Right. Correct.
And she talked about her family. You feel very comfortable. You would know if there was somebody else out there, right?
Yes.
Okay, now, it's also true that George Michael Newsom and Elizabeth Gail McBride died before Miss Bertrand died, but they left children.
Yes.
All right, and the children they left, Miss McBride left one son, Christopher Kidd McBride, and he was born on or about November 11th, 1985, correct? Yes. Best of your knowledge. Okay, and then George Michael Newsom had 3 children, Jessica Sibley Newsom Miller, born in 1989, Michaela Newsom Davis, born in 1997, and George Jr., born in 1999. Is that correct?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
And they live in the Coons area. Is that correct? All right. And they now, Ms. Newsom, you heard me represent. We have the waiver of service and consent application by those grandchildren. You're aware of that, right? And they consent to you being independent administrator of the estate. Yes. And now and to waive bond so that you don't have to post a bond to be the representative of the estate. That they consented to that too. And they're aware of this probate procedure.
Yes.
And they're not here today because they're okay with you doing this.
Right.
And there is a necessity for the administration because when your mama died, their business to tend to. She had a mortgage or some insurance money to take care of and some debts to take care of and property to be distributed.
Right.
Right? Okay. Now let's get to her death. Now she was born on or about 18 November 1942 in Texarkana, Texas, right? And she died intestate, meaning without a will, on or about December 23rd of 2019 at the age of 77 years in Harris County.
Yes.
Okay. And at the time she died, she was domiciled and owned property here in Chambers County, Texas, right?
Right.
And let's see. That's true that she did not apply for or receive any Medicaid benefits, period.
Medicaid, no.
That's right. Medicare is different,
Right.
but Medicaid, we don't have an issue with Medicaid, correct?
Correct.
All right. And in your folks, I'm going to ask you on your written proof of death and other facts that we're going to sign and submit to the court. Have you had a chance to read those?
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Clubb,
Yes.
Ms. Newsom?
Yes.
All right. Is everything in there, to the best of your knowledge, true?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And you adopt these written statements as your testimony in this case too?
Yes.
BJ, is that a yes?
Yes.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Carter. Now, there are, Teresa, are there any omissions or anything that you're trying to hide about a secret child out there or something like that?
No.
All right, or a secret marriage, maybe she left some secret spouse out there somewhere.
No.
All right, or that you found the will and tore it up because you didn't like it.
No.
All right. Now, we have had a Miss Georgia Clapper, a local attorney. She's appointed as attorney ad litem to represent unknown heirs, which is an odd job, but it's a job, right? And she's done her job. And we agreed to pay her ad litem fee of $500, right? And you think that's fair? All right, I do too. And Ms. Clapper may weigh in on, I hear there might be a movement to increase the fee without showing a need for increasing the fee, but Ms. Clapper and I both think $500 is fair in this case. I don't know about other cases, but that's an aside. And with that, I pass the witnesses.
Ms. Clapper, you're muted, Georgia.
What do you say?
He's talking to Ms. Clapper.
Sorry, I'm talking to the person over in this picture, BJ.
Can
Oh,
you hear me now?
okay.
Can
Ms.
you hear me?
Clapper.
Can you
Yes,
hear
ma'am.
me? All right,
Yes.
Judge, I've done a full history and I've filed a report, and everything that these witnesses have testified to proves to be correct. There was one other marriage, but it ended in divorce, and there were no children in that marriage either, and it is listed in the report. I do agree to the fee as being fair, and this entire proceedings was published in progress as required. So if there was anyone out there who is hidden or hiding themselves, they had the duty to come forward before today, and no one has come forward to my knowledge. So the testimony is correct, and I do recommend that the probate go forward as asked.
Thank you, Ms. Clapper. Okay, hereby approve the declaration of heirship. Mr. Baker, did you, are you
Yes.
testimony on the independent administration?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear that last part.
Are you through with your testimony on the independent
Yeah,
administration?
we're through with the testimony. There should be 3 orders for you to sign. So there should be a judgment declaring and determining heirship of the decedent's estate. And it should be the second one I e-filed in advance. Ms. Clapper did an excellent job of finding a typo. I had one of the heirs listed twice. Didn't increase the share, but it was got the same share twice, you know. And then there's an order appointing Teresa Newsom as administratrix and authorizing letters. And then there's an order for appointment of attorney at light fee. And I'm going to drop that check off to Ms. Clapper today.
Okay, those orders all approved. Thank you all. Be safe out there. BJ, I'm glad
Yes.
that ask you about your moral character.
Yes.
All right, take care.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Clapper, number 68, state of Effie Mae Lewis. You may proceed, ma'am. Jordan, you're still muted, Jordan. Oh, you are muted.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Great.
And you may proceed.
Do you want to swear her in or?
Yeah, that would be nice. Raise your right hand, please, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes.
You may proceed.
Okay. Can you hear Effie when she talked then? Take it off, if you don't mind. All right. Is your name Effie Mae White?
Yes,
And was Effie Mae Lewis your mother?
yes,
Was she a resident of Chambers County and the state of Texas for 6 months prior to her death?
yes,
And in fact, she lived here for over 70 years, didn't she?
yes,
And did your mother die on or about, you went through this proof of death, correct?
yes.
And everything in it is true and correct?
It's true and correct.
We
Yes,
actually corrected the date of death is January 27 of 2018 at the age of 87.
yes,
And she had a will,
yes,
and the will is before the court today.
yes,
And there is no Medicaid problem with the will.
no,
You have not received anything like that.
no,
I'm going to show you the signature page, which is before the court today, and ask you if you recognize your mother's signature.
yes,
You see that she signed it on August the 10th of 2017 in the presence of Lonnie Hassan, Rob Clapper, and a notary public, Cynthia Clark.
yes,
And did she at any time after August the 10th of 17 and before her death revoke this will in any manner?
no,
Did she have any other children or any other marriage from the time of the will to the time of her death?
yes, children.
She didn't have any other children born
Oh,
to her
no
between the time of the will and the time of her death,
No.
correct?
No.
All right. Now, the will does name one beneficiary, correct?
Yes,
But there are two children that was born to her marriage to Grace Eugene Hill, and that's Marilyn Hill Albritton and Velma Hill Thomas, correct?
yes,
Now, both Marilyn and Velma have signed waivers of citation and appearance, and it's been filed with the clerk of the court, and it's before the court, plus you signed a waiver of citation as well.
yes,
And everybody agrees for you to be the executrix because you're named in the will,
yes,
and they agree and abide by the terms and conditions of the will and that waiver as well, correct?
yes,
You are willing to perform the duties, and there's no prohibition against you doing it to be the executor and to abide by your mom's desires in the will, and you're willing to do that?
yes,
All right. You also signed an affidavit. There was a child that was born during common law that is predeceased, and he had some children. They're not beneficiaries in the will. There is a will, but this affidavit says they were adopted out by someone after they were born.
yes,
You have no idea where they are, but you have before the court all of the known heirs of Effie Mae Lewis.
yes,
You're asking the court to approve the will and to enter it today for probate. And your mother, hasn't been 4 years since her death. It's only been 3. And you're asking the court to admit it to probate today and for letters testamentary.
yes,
That's all, Judge.
Okay, hereby admit the will to probate and authorize letters. Ms. Clapper, thank you, Ms. White. Take care. Have a good day. All right, number 69, the state of Lacey E. Taylor. Good morning, Mr. Wilson, Ms. Poole.
Good morning. How are you, Judge?
Good. Raise your right hand, ma'am.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And you may proceed, counsel.
Thank you, Your Honor. State your name for the court, please, Carrie. Carrie Taylor Poole. Carrie, you're the sister of the decedent, is that right? Yes. Now, you have reviewed this proof of death and other facts that you signed and had notarized and was filed with the court, is that right? Yes. And all the statements and facts contained therein are true and correct within your own personal knowledge, is that right? Yes. Your brother died with a will, which we have filed with the court that was dated May 13th, 1994. That will was never amended or revoked as far as you know, is that right? That's correct. Judge, this is a non-taxable estate. We'd ask that the appraisers be waived and that Ms. Poole be named independent executrix and letters testamentary be issued.
So done. All right, thank you, Counselor, Ms. Poole.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, number 74, the state of Eddie Oscar Hillier. Ms. Clapper?
Yes, sir, I'll unmute.
Okay. You're muted. There you
Now,
go.
can you hear me?
Now.
Okay. Your Honor, I'm going to prove this one up for the court. You can go in there if you want.
All right, if you'll raise your right hand, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're giving today is correct, so help you God?
I do.
You may proceed.
Your Honor, first I would offer into evidence the proof of death and other facts sworn to by Eddie Keith Hillier on the estate of Eddie Oscar Hillier Jr. and ask that the court take judicial notice of each and every fact contained thereon and admitted into evidence.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Your Honor, Eddie Oscar Hillier was a resident of Chambers County at the time of his death on July 27th of 2002 at the age of 88. He was married to Willie Mae Hillier, his only wife during his lifetime, and he had two children, Eddie Heath Hillier and Richard, let me double check, Richard Hillier, Richard D. The will was executed with the solemnities of self-proving affidavit. I'm looking for the will. Sorry, Your Honor, but it
That's
does
okay.
show that there was. Dated August 7th, 1970, in the presence of two witnesses, Bruce Maddox and Walter Terry, and a notary, John M. Robinson, as indicated on the self-proving affidavit contained in the will. That is part of the proof of death that Eddie Heath Hillier has sworn to. The will does name as his sole beneficiary, as far as beneficiary number one, his wife, Willie Mae Hillier. There was no Medicaid. At the time, it wouldn't have been applicable in 2002. We are asking today for the will to be admitted to probate strictly as a muniment of title only. There was an affidavit of heirship filed back in 2000, the same year of his death in 2000. The affidavit of heirship was not the same person that the first page followed. So the necessity for muniment of title is created by that erroneous affidavit of heirship. That is the only reason that they're probating the will of Eddie Oscar Hillier Jr., Your Honor, in order to have his estate go to his wife. She is the only wife. They were never married to any other person, neither Eddie or Willie Mae, during their lifetime. And all of the children of the marriage were born of the marriage. So she, under the will, takes Eddie Oscar Hillier Jr.'s portion of their community property and the separate under the will. And for that reason, Judge, we are asking that you sign the order admitting will to probate as a muniment of title.
Okay, hereby admit the will to probate as a muniment of title. Thank you, ma'am.
And when I went through that, thank you, Judge. Have a great day.
You too.